Since the involvement of NASCAR superstars Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kevin Harvick, Jeff Burton, and Justin Marks, the notoriety of the Cars Tour and its competitors has skyrocketed. The racing speaks for itself because it's true, grassroots, hard-nosed late model racing at its best. And we're here to bring that action to light. This is On Tour. Welcome to episode 5 of On Tour, following the Cars Tour race at Orange County Speedway. My name is Buddy Pulley, co-host of the Big Motor Small Blade podcast, joined, of course, by FrontStretch.com's lead Cars Tour reporter, Chase Folsom, or as, of course, we know him on this channel as Chuck. And Chuck, Orange County Speedway, man, we were walking into the track, and this was my first time there, and you told me that this is probably in your top 3 of favorite racetracks in America. Why is that?
Well, there's holes the size of your head in the racetrack, so there's some character there.
Yeah.
People, you can't tell from watching on Flow, but it's really banked all the way around for a short track, especially in the Southeast. A lot of them are kind of flat, and it's definitely not. It's like you're driving. It's got like a Wilkesboro thing about it, where you're driving uphill into one corner and downhill into the other. I believe it's uphill into 3 and downhill into. No, it's up into 1 and down into 3.
Yeah.
But it's fast for a 3/8 mile track. It's really fast. That's why it has the nickname America's Fastest 3/8 mile. And it's honestly really cool how fast it is with as old as the asphalt is, and chunky and bumpy and everything else about it. So it's a unique track. It's got a lot of character, and there is nowhere else like it. And the scenery around it is awesome.
Yeah, and tell you what, this was my first time there, and I think I share the same sentiment. It's such an awesome racetrack. 3 and 4 reminds me of Darlington, and then 1 and 2. If I had to, I don't even know what to compare 1 and 2 to, really. I mean, a traditional, low bank short track corner. But 3 and 4, I mean, you slide up in the center, you can dime in the corner, you can run the top. And like you said, it's fast, and it is something special to watch them float it off into turn 3, cut the center, and drive that thing off the corner. It is everything you love about racing in one racetrack, and I really fell in love with Orange County. Another driver that probably fell in love with Orange County after this weekend was Brent Crews. He scored his very first Cars Tour victory this weekend, and Chuck caught up with him.
Just want to thank all these guys at KHI and the good Lord above. None of this would be possible without him up above, and I'm super stoked to get this thing in victory lane. Everybody at KHI, Twitter Racing, Mobile One, they do a great job, and it's an honor to be able to have them on the side of the car. And this beautiful 29 with Mobile One, I think, looks great, especially in victory lane. So just want to thank all the guys that work so hard behind the scenes at the shop. It doesn't go unnoticed, and I think that showed tonight.
So speaking of that race at Southern National, were you able to learn anything in that situation that put you in a better spot tonight when you were running behind Bobby rather than leading the race, trying to save your equipment for the end?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was just some tire prep stuff on myself, right? Making sure your tires are warm. I think that was a bigger key than most people really understand with this new tire. Got to stay on top of it. And then honestly, just experience, right? I still don't have a lot, and I'm still learning every lap almost, but keeping your stuff alive, right? I think I was a little too hard on him as well. Got too big of a lead. So learning every week, whether we win or don't win, it's always a learning curve. This stuff is so tough, and always something to take out of it.
Obviously a huge win for Brent Cruz and KHI. I think it's the first time since maybe 2011 that KHI scored a victory in any sort of series outside of maybe Keelan Harvick. Brent obviously driving for Kevin Harvick, that adds a lot of pressure, but it says a lot about who Brent is. And I mean, he's a Trans Am champion, much like the path that Connor Zilisch took, and I feel like he's held in the same regard as Connor Zilisch. Do you feel that way, Chuck?
I think so, yeah, because a lot of people don't think about the fact that Connor's 17, Brent's 16.
Yeah.
Like, these are like sophomore and junior age kids in high school. They're out here winning races against some of the best race car drivers in America. in Connor's case, the world. But Brent will get there. There's something special about this young crop of drivers. Brent's been winning races at Millbridge over here in my neck of the woods since he was like 9, I feel like. So
Yeah.
he's been around here forever. Everybody knew who he was, but now, I mean, he's driving for Kevin Harvick at 16 years old. I think that speaks for itself. And so far this season, he's proving exactly why he's driving for Kevin Harvick in maybe the best short track series in America right now.
Yeah, I mean, and it's something to be said about the head the head on his shoulders he has. I mean, he's obviously in good hands with KHI, but I mean, he is so well spoken and such a smart racer at such a young age. And I mean, and you see that. I think that comes a lot from driving all these different cars. You mentioned him running at Millbridge. Obviously, like I just said, Trans Am champion. He's getting a little bit of everything, and that's what you have to do if you want to make it at the top level of stock car racing. And the short track racing, he's relatively new to, especially these late models. And you heard him in that interview talk about what he learned from Southern National. Obviously, he won the pole and led much of that race. And what's up?
He started second.
He started second, and led most of that, the early portion of that race. It kind of fell off at the end, and it looked like he turned the tables. What do you think? What are you seeing out of Brent in these first 4 races of the year?
Well, it's a lot of growth, right? He's now learning. He comes from the background of running micro sprints. Like that was like to my knowledge, that's the first thing I remember him running, and those are like sprint races. And even he's run some ARCA stuff. Like, I don't know if people remember, he ran up front with Jesse Love and Connor Zilisch last year at Watkins Glen in an ARCA race. 15 years old, up there running with the other 2, what we consider 2 of the maybe 4 best prospects in NASCAR right now.
Yeah.
So, but he's now in a new discipline where he has to learn the art of tire management. And so far, all 4 of the tracks that he has gone to are heavy on the tire management. You go to Southern National, and he probably didn't feel like he was that hard on the tires, but he learned.
Yeah.
Even when you think you're not, you are. At a track like Southern National, he goes to Hickory, has a good run there, goes to New River, probably used up his stuff a little bit too much there. But now he comes to Orange County, another track. It's probably more similar to Hickory in the tire wear category, but I mean, it's there. And he's running behind one of the best in the business, Bobby McCarty, the only 3-time champion of the series. And he outsaved Bobby McCarty. That at 16 years old, you tire saved the second most successful guy in the history of the series. You could argue the most successful. He's learning at a very rapid pace. And if he continues to learn at this pace, here by the middle of June, we could be talking about Brent Cruz as a title favorite. Like, we're on that trajectory right now. So it'll be interesting to watch and see how he continues to learn as he gets to some of these other racetracks. We got some tracks coming up where he can kind of blitz the car more and go all out. So it'll be curious. I'll be curious to see how he adapts to that style. I feel like that might be more in his wheelhouse rather than this art of tire wear. So it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, and he'll also get to see some of these tracks for a second time as well.
Right.
So Brent Cruz gets the victory for KHI. Let's take a look at the rest of the results from Orange County.
Taking a look at the results from the ZMAX Cars Tour Orange Blossom 250 at Orange County Speedway, it was Brent Cruz picking up his first career Cars Tour win in the series return to Orange County. Pro Late Model winner on the night, Kaden Honeycutt, would come home second, and rounding out the podium is your hard charger for the night, Carson Kvapil, as he goes 21st to 3rd. Connor Hall was another driver on the move as he goes 18th to 4th, with Chase Burrow picking up his second top 5 of the season in 5th. Rookie Katie Hettinger comes home 6th, with flying Ryan Millington in 7th, Lane Riggs in 8th, Timothy Peters picking up a top 10 in 9th, and rookie Trayton Lapsevich rounding out the top 10. Jacob Hefner comes home 11th, with Andrew Grady in 12th. A tough night for Brendan Queen, but he salvages a 13th, with Camden Gully in 14th. Connor Zilisch, after the contact with Bobby McCarty, comes home 15th. Deke McCaskill in 16th. Clay Jones in 17th. Minnie Tyrell, who was caught up in the Connor Zilisch and Bobby McCarty incident, comes home in 18th. Buddy Isles Jr. in 19th and Brandon Pierce in 20th. Connor Mosack comes home in 21st with Chad McCumbee in 22nd. Bryce Applegate in 23rd. Bobby McCarty comes home 24th after leading the most laps on the night, with Cade Brown coming home 25th after being caught up in that incident as well. Ronnie Bassett Jr. picks up at 26th with Isabella Robusto 27th after a hard accident in Turn 3. Mason Bailey comes home 28th, with Landon Huffman 29th and Logan Clark 30th after their Lap 3 incident. The only car not to qualify was Connor Jones in the number 44.
Brent Crews by no means had it easy, but he had it a little bit easier at the end of the race because some of his top competitors, Bobby McCarty, Connor Zilisch, and Minnie Tyrell, all got caught up in a big crash off of Turn 4. Chuck, it looked like there, Connor Zilisch going for second on Bobby McCarty. It looked to me, at least, like Bobby slid up in the corner like he was trying to diamond the corner, and when he pointed on exit, Connor stuck his nose in there and took the real estate away and caused this wreck. What do you think happened?
At the end of the day, it's a racing deal.
Yeah.
You watch it, you slow it down. It's so tough because you got Bobby, who's probably ticked off that he just lost the lead after having such a good car all night. You got Connor. That feels like I got to go now to catch Brent.
Yeah.
So if you're Connor Zilisch, you feel like Bobby pinched you. If you're Bobby McCarty, you feel like Connor drove it in your left rear. And I think both probably happened. Bobby probably pinched him a little bit because he felt like the real estate was his as being the car ahead. And Connor probably was like, well, I got to go. I'm going to stick my nose in here and say I'm here.
Yeah.
And he probably wasn't there enough to be there. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because he was there enough to turn him around. So it took out both of them. You know, I think Minnie would have been okay had they not considered him in the accident.
Yeah.
I'm still not 100% sure on what exactly happened there. I skipped over that part by accident. Cade Brown got taken out of it. He was running top 5. Trayden Lapsevich as well got caught up in it. And there was a lot of guys that could have got caught up in it. Kaden Honeycutt just barely snuck through. I thought he was going to plow the side of Connor. So it's a racing deal where nobody wins, really.
Yeah, I mean, and you mentioned it there, Minnie Tyrell, kind of an innocent bystander, got sent to the back because he was technically involved in the wreck, and that really cost him a shot at a good day after his great start to the season. Yeah, and I can promise you we enjoyed some entertainment from Bobby McCarty after the race in his Flip Cup competition, and let me tell you, there was definitely some shade being thrown at old Connor Zilisch there, so there's no love lost there. Another driver that had a rough night earlier in the night was Landon Huffman.
How many times are you going to say that this year?
Dude, I don't know. I hope not many more. He ends up, his car breaks. I'm not sure what broke off of turn 2 there, but he ended up making a beeline for the wall and right into the path of Logan Clark. Logan Clark took a hard hit. Good to see him get out and okay. Landon Huffman, man, what are you gonna do?
I mean, he posted something on his story. One of his crew guys was like, we should have went fishing. And then it was a thing because the guy bass fishes. And then it was a thing of Landon saying,
Seth Brotherton, yeah.
Was it Seth Brotherton? Okay,
yeah.
That's what.
Yeah.
And it was like Landon posted a picture of the two of them talking in the trailer, and it was like me asking Seth how much it is to enter a bass tournament. Saying, hell of a lot less than this. It's a hell of a lot less expensive too.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's getting more expensive for Landon. I thought about handing Landon a penny this weekend. Whether it was heads up or not, I don't know. I think he might just could need the penny. Let's be real.
Right now.
Yeah, I mean, all jokes aside, though, I mean, it is tough to see Landon going through this because a lot of it isn't anything of his doing. And he had a legendary interview that he gave Flow Racing after the race, after a little conversation he had with Marcus Richmond and Landon Huffman. At least in my opinion, it's not some dumb kid from Claremont.
Basically, I'm just a dumb Claremont idiot, I guess.
And I'd look out if I was RNS Racing. There might be a race car on your front doorstep. When we come back, we'll talk to the top 3 finishers about the hot button question of the weekend. Does Orange County Speedway need a repave? FrontStretch.com is where you'll find all your racing content in one place for free. They have it all from NASCAR to F1 to IndyCar, grassroots racing, and even iRacing. Front Stretch has you covered with daily news for every series, weekly columns, and even on-site coverage at every NASCAR and Cars Tour event. Head over to FrontStretch.com, subscribe to their YouTube page, and give them a follow on X to get your daily fix on all things motorsports.
As always, we want to thank FrontStretch.com for allowing us to use the content that I get. Thank them for allowing me to even go to the racetrack in the first place. So if you want to see any of the full interviews from this video or any of our previous ones or any other content we get, go to FrontStretch.com's YouTube. It's at FrontStretch. We're actually in the process of growing a second channel where you can find all the Car Store content. We will put a link down below for that. And if you want to see any written content for NASCAR, Cars Tour, IndyCar, anything else, you can go to FrontStretch.com and find all of your motorsports content there.
Yeah, thank you again to Front Stretch. You guys are really helping us out with this show, and I really hope they see the benefit of it because we are getting a lot of views. Thank you to everybody watching, and it's really warming my heart to see the traction that this show has gotten.
And just a disclaimer for anybody that tuned in because Dale Jr. was in the title last week, keep watching because he owns the series and he'll be back eventually this year. I promise. I'm not lying to you. So keep watching. We appreciate everybody for being here. Moving on.
Yeah. And there's plenty more great drivers in the Cars Tour to look out for as well. So definitely keep watching, as Chuck said. Chuck, one of the main reasons I love Orange County Speedway, I know you share the same sentiment, is the wore out surface that it has. That was a hot button question that you asked the top 3 finishers. Let's hear what they had to say.
I do not think we need to repave. I think I think the reason why everyone loves this place, including the drivers, I think it's a little bit biased because I won here, but even when we were horrible here, this has been one of my favorite places. So what will happen if we have a repave is it's just going to be around the middle and around the bottom, and I don't think anyone wants that. I think the character around this racetrack is the fact that it's bumpy, that you run high and your tires fall off. I think what we do need is we need to fill in the holes. I think if we fill in the holes, it won't really change the character much, but it'll change some of the cautions that we have for just a tiny piece of asphalt. But it's also a safety precaution, right? So if a piece of chunk of lead or something just flies up in the air and comes to your windshield, that's not good either. So I think we need to fill some of the holes. I don't really know too much about it, but I think that's in the best case scenario.
If you repave this place is ruined for life. So it's just too fast. Like we would literally probably be going 120 miles an hour, 130 miles an hour around here. So yeah, I don't know. Like it just needs to be patched up and sat over the course of time and let it seal up. I feel like it would fix our problems. So yeah, hopefully that gets solved, and it's still one of the greatest racetracks we go to in our schedule. So yeah, I'll always love the place whether it gets repaved or not. I really hope it don't.
There's been a lot of talk about the track coming up here at Orange County this weekend. Is that something you think needs to lead to a repave here, or do you think we're good for a couple more years?
No, I don't want to call anybody out, but yeah, my front bumper, my front nose is all caved in from it. I'm sure other people have had issues throughout the night. I mean, it's one of those deals where I feel like they could probably do something about it, and it just seems like they need to do something about it, but it just didn't seem like they got anything done in time. But I feel like this place is a really nice track, and it's a good facility. I just think it just needs a little bit of fixing up.
So, as you see, Kaden, Honeycutt, and Brent Crews pretty much had around the same answer. Disclaimer here, Carson's answer is a little different. I presented the question a little bit differently to him, so I didn't mention the option of repatching the racetrack to Carson, and I should have in hindsight. So his answer may have been a little different had I presented it a little better. So take his answer with a grain of salt.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of the drivers shared the same sentiment that Brent and Kaden shared, that this track doesn't need to be repaved. And I have here to show you. I have 2 jars of asphalt, one from Atlanta Motor Speedway, one from North Wilkesboro Speedway. And let me tell you, as cool as these jars of asphalt are, I don't want one from Orange County Speedway unless it's a chunk that I get myself from the canyons that are in there. These aren't cracks. These aren't swells. These aren't weepers. These aren't, I don't know. These are straight up canyons. I know I've flown over the Grand Canyon, and you know what? You know what's more impressive? The surface of Orange County Speedway. And just walking through there. I mean, you could fit, Chuck, you had on cowboy boots. You could fit 2 of your cowboy boots inside these canyons, and you know what? That surface, she may be a little rough around the edges, but she puts on some damn good racing.
So I am 100% against repaving that racetrack. We'll get to it in a second. Why? But just do not repave Orange County. There's plenty of reasons not to. But we are at the point where something. Okay, I'll get back to that. We are at the point where something has to be done, though.
Yeah.
Because you can't have chunks of asphalt flying through the air. You can't have the track having to be patched on lap 2 of the Pro Late Model race. You can't have a chunk of asphalt going through Brent Cruz' radiator at the Orange County race that we covered a couple of weeks ago, the Warburton race. So I think if you fill, as much as the canyons are cool, if you fill in the canyons and you fill in the holes, I don't care if you have to fill them in with cement. Fill them in with something. And that way you have it wouldn't be a flat surface because it's still going to be bumpy, but you don't have holes in the surface that allow the track to come up and fly through the air. So you keep the same character, the old asphalt that wears out the tires, the bumpiness that makes the track unique, and you just take away the safety hazards. And I think everybody wins. They're already going so fast around Orange County because of how banked it is and just shape of the racetrack, how it presents itself. If you repave that racetrack, Caden Honeycutt was talking about it, they're probably going to be going 130 around there in a late model stock car, which you don't know is hauling. Like that's that's really fast. So when you're going that fast, like for perspective, I don't think they're even going that fast at Wilkesboro right now. They tested there. They're going to test there this week. So you just end up with a one groove racetrack.
Yeah.
And it just wouldn't be fun. Caden Honeycutt said it would be ruined forever. Yeah. We don't want that. So don't repave it, repatch it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I think if you've watched any repave race, a lot of times they take a long time, especially with the way they pave tracks now, to wear in. I think especially 3 and 4 there, it's an odd comparison, but I think it could be. I think it's apt to be like a Michigan. How Michigan took so long to wear in a second groove. I think 3 and 4, especially in Orange County, would be much of the same, and it would ruin what's so great about this racetrack. So, if there are bulldozers and pavers outside of Orange County Speedway, just know right in front of them are going to be me and Chuck standing there in the way, and I hope all of you here will join us as well. Welcome back, and of course, it's that time of the show. Before we close out, Chuck is going to ask me a question. I'm warming up to these. Go ahead, Chuck.
So this stemmed from a short conversation. I got to respond to the guy that I had with somebody on Twitter this week. And it kind of made the gears start turning.
Okay.
Because they had a pretty big effect on this race. So What is your opinion of the competition cautions in the Cars Tour? Do you like how they are? Do they need to change, or do they need to go away completely? In your opinion, if you were in charge.
That's funny because I was thinking about this. I think it's cost effective for these guys because I think it's if you didn't have the comp yellows, I think you're messing with tire strategy, and you're opening up that door a little bit more, I feel like, than what needs to be. I feel like if having the comp yellows keeps it a little more consistent with what the teams need to do. There's still some strategy involved, but not too much. And when you open up that box, I feel like it opens up the opportunities for guys who have I feel like it opens up the opportunity to spend. I'm going to put it just to spend more money. I'll put it like that. And I don't think it necessarily hurts the races and the way they're run. I think they're placed very well. So yeah, no, I think the way they are right now, unless somebody can present a better way of doing it, I think the way they are right now are fine.
I'm going to agree with you. The guy that I was having the conversation with said that he didn't like it. He thought it was gimmicky. But for a short track series, I kind of disagree because it gives it, the local short track field. It's a feel, not field. It's just like Hickory running twin 40s on a Saturday night, essentially. We're kind of dealing with the same thing. Gives it the old school short track Saturday night feel. So I like it. I think it fits the Cars Tour well, and I think it has no reason to change.
Yeah, one more thing. I think it would promote more just riding around because you don't know when the caution's going to come, and that's the whole reason we have a new tire in the Cars Tour is to limit that a little bit. Obviously we still have the tire management, which is great because we love to see that, but we have a good balance, I feel like, right now of tire management. But then the guys, if you want to go, you can go, and it makes the races more racy, and I feel like that would hurt that. Obviously the next race on the schedule is Ace. It's not this weekend, it's going to be next weekend. It looks like I'm going to be going to that race. Chuck he's taking a sabbatical. I believe it's his birthday. Is that correct?
Birthday and college exams.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, there you go. It'll be a big celebration for old Chuck. He'll have his face.
Depends on if I pass or not.
Yeah. All right. Well, everybody leave a comment wishing Chuck luck on his exams and a happy birthday. Also, Carson Kvapil is going to run the Xfinity race at Dover. We had previously speculated where he might run. I think you thought maybe Loudon was an opportunity there, but Dover is going to be his next run at the Xfinity Series. That's all I have for today. Chuck, you got anything else?
Just about Carson. So Loudon's still on the table. I'm not wrong yet.
You're right. Yeah.
He's running the same paint scheme but blue, so that's interesting. I think it's going to be maybe a little steeper of a learning curve for Carson. It's a track he's never been to. It's unlike any track he's ever been to because, he has laps around Martins previous to Xfinity. He is running the ARCA race on Friday night as well. So for Pinnacle, oddly enough, who Connor Zilisch drives for. Yeah. So that'll be some more track time for him. It's one of those deals, man. Like, you give him the ARCA race to figure out the track. I think he runs top 10. He's just got such good racecraft.
I'll tell you what.
I wouldn't be surprised if he runs top 5. I really wouldn't.
I'll tell you what. There was another Cars Tour champion, really good short track driver. He happens to be pretty darn good at Dover. His name is Josh Berry. He's got an Xfinity win there. So I got some high expectations for old Carson going into Dover. So Dover kind of drives like Orange County.
I
was thinking that.
Orange County.
There you go.
Orange County, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be at Dover this weekend. I'll try to get a little bit of pure sound for you, and we'll tack it on to the Ace the Ace episode for you guys. So I'll be cheering on Carson for sure on Saturday at Dover. But that's all we got for this week's episode of On Tour. Thank you again for everybody watching. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you keep watching, and make sure you support your local short tracks. Enjoy some pure sound. We'll see you after Ace.
Ready to move on from that one, but just want to thank all these guys at KHI and the good Lord above.
Hey!